Hi, I'm Colton with Porsche Center Calgary, and I have an awesome car to talk to you about today. This one is a 2018 911 Turbo S Cabriolet, which is really awesome, as I say. So the Turbo S is really the top of the line in terms of power and outright acceleration and all that stuff. You can look to the GT3 RSs for kind of the most lightweight track-focused car. Some consider that the top of the range, but this is kind of parallel to that car, but doing a very different thing. So you can go very much as fast as those cars do, but in a little bit more comfort. The basics, if you don't know already, the Turbo S has a 3.8 liter flat six twin turbocharged, 580 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. And with the launch control, Car and Driver tested this one at 2.6 seconds 0 to 60, which is almost unparalleled. There's really only a handful of cars that are that quick that you can get anywhere in the world. So just a crazy, crazy fast car. And this particular one is really nicely put together. So with all Turbo S's, you get things like these really cool center lock wheels. Definitely my favorite wheels that we offer on anything. And you can see the yellow caliper on there. That's because the Turbo S's are also standard with the carbon ceramic brakes. $10,000 option on any other 911, but they just come with the Turbo S's, so you won't see it on the option list, but they're there. They're built in as standard equipment. So lots of cool, just standard stuff, but I want to talk about options that were selected on this guy. So color first, this is Agate Gray Metallic, which is really nice. It's a gray with kind of a brownish hue to it, depending what light it's in. It's been a super popular color. Headlights are the LEDs in black, so they're kind of tinted, and there's a few other black accents around the car. The exhaust tips are also in the gloss black, and so is the badging around back, so it's nice and kind of cohesively designed. Another important aspect of the outside is that this one has the Turbo Aero Kit, which changes the look up a little bit. So you have kind of, some different front aero bits compared to without that option. It's a little bit more interesting up front. And then in the back, the wing, without that Aero Kit, you just have the very simple wing. With the Aero Kit, you can see back there how it kind of comes up at the sides, right? Makes it, again, a little bit more interesting. Just some cooler aero stuff at work there. And then also, this one being a pre-owned vehicle, you have the bonus of the previous owner wrapping not only the front in paint protection film, but actually the whole car. The whole thing is already wrapped, so ready to get out there in the world. You don't have to be afraid to drive it. It's already quite well protected, so that's nice too. And then moving inside, some very cool stuff done there. So it's a full leather interior. Your dashboard, doors, all that stuff is leather wrapped, which is awesome. But what I really appreciate is on top of that, the previous owner did the contrasting stitching, which just kind of takes the luxury up a notch, in my opinion. So you have that white stitch along the top of the dash, carrying over onto the doors, as well as in the seams of the seats and the inside of the steering wheel. That's probably my favorite part. You get that nice kind of, highlight of the stitch inside the wheel. This one has the leather on the seat backs as well, with the contrasting stitch kind of around the outline of the back of the seats too, which is just really cool. It makes it feel a little bit more special inside than even, a regular 911. It does feel just that much more significant. And then things like the carbon fiber trim were kind of supplemented with carbon fiber door sills, which I always like to see, and they're illuminated, so when you open the door, it'll say 911 Turbo S on there, and the light comes on, which I think is awesome. These cars will all have the Sport Chrono package, so that's here, which gives you that launch control I mentioned earlier, as well as a couple of other little things that you can read more about. I won't dive into right now, but you've got that. Heated and cooled seats are not standard, but were both optioned on this one, and you have the 18-way seat, so the most heavily bolstered and adjustable seats are in here too. You have the entry and drive, so you don't have to plug your key into the dash. It was optional on this car, but it was selected, so you've got that here too. And then another small thing that I like is the PDK gear selector in aluminum. Bit of a different look than the standard one, and it just feels a lot nicer in the hand. It's an option that initially I thought, no, I wouldn't bother, but when I actually drive the cars and feel it, it's nice. You want those surfaces that you touch to feel as premium as possible, right? It's great to spend money everywhere in the car, and it's all really cool, but particularly the stuff that you actually touch and physically interact with is worthwhile. So this one already has that. Very cool to see. Some other stuff that was on this one, blind spot warning, lane change assist, becoming more and more popular all the time. So this one has that. If somebody's in your blind spot, it'll flash to warn you before you leap over into the other lane. As well, adaptive cruise. So you may notice that big kind of sensor up front. All the cars will have cruise control, but optionally you could put on the adaptive cruise, which this one has again. So you can set your following distance from the car in front. If they slow down, then this car will slow down for you to maintain that gap. And then you get an emergency braking system in there as well. So it'll warn you if it thinks you're going to collide with somebody. And if you don't do anything, it'll just first pressurize the brakes so that when you just tap them, you get a full reaction. If you still don't do anything, then it will actually physically apply the brakes for you, which is something only it has to be used once or kick in once to be pretty happy you have it. So a nice added bonus there as well. And I think that just about, oh, Burmester is the other thing, the top end audio system, which if you're going to go to the top level of car with the Turbo S, you might as well get the top end audio as well, right? It works really well if you have high quality recordings. And if you don't and you're entertaining a car with Burmester, make that investment and download the higher quality recordings. iTunes will compress the files. They won't sound as good. You won't understand necessarily why, you know, that Burmester is so expensive. But I encourage you to test it out with an uncompressed music file, and you really get a full sound that's quite impressive. Another little thing I just noticed is the steering column was leather wrapped as well, and I do love those little touches where, you know, you open the door. Generally, you see that steering column and it's plastic. Going that extra mile to make that leather wrapped just makes it clear that no corners are cut. Every bit of it is super premium, so I love seeing that. If I haven't mentioned, this one has currently about 7,700 kilometers on it, so really not very many at all, and is certified pre-owned. So that means that it's been through its inspection and reconditioning process by a Porsche certified tech and using only Porsche genuine parts, but virtually nothing was required. The car is near new, so no work needed to be done, but we did add the extra warranty. So the standard new car warranty is 4 years or 80,000 kilometers. With the certified cars, that gets extended to 6 years and unlimited kilometers. So the in-service date for this one originally was August the 11th of 2018. So you have until August 11th of, what would it be, 2024, and unlimited mileage. And then you have the fact that this one is significantly less money than it was brand new. And you actually have more warranty even than when it was new. And that full film I mentioned earlier, which by itself is worth about $5,000. So, you know, an expensive car, but actually a really good value. And again, as I mentioned, virtually unparalleled in terms of its acceleration. I've done the launch control on these cars and it's pretty mind-bending. It's a really cool thing to do. And actually on that note, the PDK transmission is good for about 9,000 launches. So it's a car that you can launch repeatedly without having to worry about too much wear on the components. It's all very robust and designed to be used again and again and again. At that number, even if you do it every day for, I think it's 26 years, you haven't reached the limit yet of what it can do. So very cool car. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you're not sure about this one, we also have a brand new one in the showroom too. We still have a 2019 sitting up there. Actually just came in a little while ago. So do come down, pay us a visit, check them out in person. We'd be happy to tell you more. Thanks again for watching.